All right. Welcome back to an episode of Kin of Comedy. I am Jerrica, one of your hosts.
I'm Dante Hill.
And I'm Talon Harris.
Ooh, that was sexy.
We're going to get it.
You tuned in to the...
Oh, not the deep voice.
My fault.
We did that.
How is your week? I got something I got to get off, guys.
She's like, how was your week? You know what?
Yeah,
fuck what y'all got to say. I got to talk about me right now.
Nah,
I found a gray hair.
It's the first time ever?
No, so what happened was I found one a couple years ago, but then it went away. But now it's coming back.
What you mean it went away?
You know, I heard that if you less stress, it goes back to normal.
Yeah.
So it did.
You stressed?
It went back to black?
So it went back to black.
Okay.
And now it's back again. But this one feel like it's here to stay. And I'm scared.
What you mean it's here to stay?
Maturity.
I'm not going to pull it out. I heard if you pull it out, it gets worse.
Who told you this?
That's not true.
I heard that.
See?
Who told you that?
I heard that. More grow back.
Is that like if you swallow gum, a tree gonna grow in your stomach?
No, that's
like,
not true. That's not true. They what's his name? Mythbusters debunked that.
Because I know mad guys that be finding grays in their bed and they just pull it out.
So I have a question since you guys are part of the elderly committee. How does it feel to have gray hair?
I'm 1 year older than her.
I've stressed out and found them at times of great stress. My girl finds it. So it's not even me. So I've never just like seen it.
Oh.
I don't want to wish that on myself.
So if you had like a bunch of gray, would you just let it grow out? Would you dye it?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'd probably dye it.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even like accept what's happening to you.
It might be happening right now.
It could be.
As you can see, I'm salt and pepper daddy right now.
Salt and pepper daddy.
Yes, he's getting there.
Own that shit, my boy.
Would I dye it if, you know what I'm saying, Spielberg wanted me to dye it? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
speak
that into existence.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you want me to look younger? You know what I'm saying? I got you. But as of right now, can't
I think
really.
you're beautiful, dog.
Thank you,
that
man.
Is so nice to say.
I appreciate that, brother.
I think you're beautiful, dog.
My boy.
We need more brothers, showing each other affection openly.
Brotherly love is super important. Well, how was your week since I talked about myself? Dante, had to get myself off. I had to do me first.
No, that's a stressful experience. Mine was cool. I told y'all in the last episode I was working on some music stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still doing the same. I'm just keeping it kind of under wraps so that I could let my, my promotion online kind of speak for itself and just doing the last touches of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've been cooling besides that. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Glad to be here with y'all again.
Always. On the weekly basis. We love each other. T, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
It's cold. I don't know. Should we talk about the weather?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. We suffering.
I don't know if we're supposed to date these.
No, stay away.
It's fine. That's okay to talk about.
It's every year though. This is the part of the year where everybody gets sick. Everybody's taking turns like catching little colds and shit.
I feel like it's cold when you see white people wearing coats and shit.
Yeah, I see them all over the city wearing coats.
Some of them was wearing like North Faces with shorts.
What's the point at that point?
Yeah.
They do that a lot. They'll go to the deli to get the sandwich.
Hell yeah. That's a fact.
The Canadian goose with the shorts.
The Canadian goose with shorts.
That's a nasty fit.
That is a bad fit.
With the shorts
and some sandals. They be having sandals on.
Yeah.
A lot.
I think that's what the London niggas be doing.
Really?
I think white people got an extra layer of skin.
Well, they're meant to be cold.
Yeah.
We're from Africa, so it'd be hot there.
Yeah, we got our shit better though. We don't sunburn the same.
He said our shit better though.
We got better skin.
I do sunburn though. That happened to me a few times.
And it does affect us.
Yes.
It does affect us.
But
melanin is like a fire.
Yeah. I got burnt for real. Like bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't take a shower.
Oh, word?
I was like this.
You was pink?
My back was fucked up.
Ooh.
My back. I was in DR and I fell asleep. I'm face down. And I woke up. I was like moving like this. Everybody I was with was sunburned though, so it wasn't just me.
No
but
SPF?
That was the first time.
How you say you was
moving? I had some on, and that shit fucked me up.
How you say you was moving?
I did.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about internet comedians versus stand-up comedians.
It's a battle to the death.
It's a battle to
the death. That's something we talked about before in here.
Yeah.
We touched on.
I love this conversation because it's just so interesting to see the progression between like internet comedians and how they've come up in the past, like, maybe it's like 10 years.
Yeah.
And the people who jumped on it early, you know, the people who did it on YouTube, Vine, you know, who jumped across all social platforms and like.
That's probably when it started around Vine, right?
I think I mean, like, I feel like YouTube had a few people, but definitely Vine.
People started going viral. Like,
that's when people started going viral.
Yeah.
Because there were little funny things on YouTube I used to look up when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like
Vine was the beginning of everything where.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing. A TikTok, a reel. It's just all just the same thing.
Because Vine was 6 seconds, right?
People started building careers. Vine was 5 or 6 seconds. Yeah.
Jeez, to be that, to go viral making a 6-second clip is crazy.
YouTube.
Honestly, I think Vine started 3 seconds. Then they went to like 7
I think so.
seconds.
Yeah. I think it expanded a few times. I remember a point when it was like 5 because I used to make Vines. So I remember a point when it was like Vines. Yeah. Because I remember trying to learn how to do that quick sweep, where you just cut to a whole different scene somewhere. I remember doing all that shit. But I remember when it was like 5 seconds. But when it was YouTube, that was when it was shit like the dramatic gerbil. You remember the gerbil? Like when the camera like zoomed in on it, mad dramatic, and they turned around like, you know? But Vine was the first time I remember people started making careers out of going viral. Like people started intentionally putting shit out for like shock value and to make people laugh. Then from there, internet kept developing, new social medias came out, and I just never saw it stop.
Did you guys, I remember on YouTube, you guys, did you ever watch Dormtainment?
Yeah.
They were pretty like, I feel like they were funny.
They was on a roll.
They was on a roll. Like, I loved them. I used to watch them all the time. I think they were pretty like, they started like, that's when I started to see more like skits and stuff on YouTube. I don't know if you would call them viral because I don't think that was like a thing at that point. But they had a lot of views and I was highly entertained by them. So
there was a point in time, I think, when people were just doing those videos to be funny, like for their friends and just to see if people would watch it.
Yeah. And
then when it started working, I think, and then you started having ad revenue, get introduced to these platforms and everything, which I guess this kind of existed in MySpace and stuff, but videos and pictures weren't what they are now.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when the celebrity started coming around and the idea of like internet comedians began. And we all just have a pretty close experience with that, just, you know, based on familial association and in our careers where we've been around both sides of it. So we've talked about this a lot. So I guess we just wanted to have an episode where we kind of dived into it. Jerrica, I think, is the most passionate about it, though. You were the first out of the three of us I heard talk about it because you talked about it on a podcast.
I did.
Then we spoke about it personally.
Yeah.
Then you brought it up for the first time here. Out of all three of us, you're the first person who brought it up.
I just think it's so interesting. I think it's so interesting because it's like seeing how like our dads came up and like how, you know, they had to go to the comedy clubs to get their names out. They had to be in the newspaper because I guess they're a little bit older, but like, and the way you got your name out there was kind of word of mouth, or you kept going to comedy clubs. Where like now with the internet comedians, I feel like they have more time. They can see what people like and they can plan out exactly what they're going to put out. Like it feels like there's a little bit of a slower pace. And I don't know. It's just such an interesting thing. I mean, some of them to me aren't funny.
Yeah, you definitely fall on that side more.
Huh?
You definitely fall.
You
on
definitely
that
want to
side
throw
more.
shot. Don't throw direct shots.
Yeah,
I'm not throwing direct shots. I just think some of the stuff is so corny.
I agree. A lot of
and I'm like, what is the audience? What's the demographic?
It's you know.
Come on. I mean,
some
it's the same thing
when
funny.
It's the same thing when it just became very easy to just make music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all you had to do was buy a little an interface. You get a computer, you get a microphone, bong, and you could record an album.
That's facts. Devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
And because my dad feels like that, like what you're expressing.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if he feels like that now. Let me not put that on, but I know he has before. So I've thought about it a lot. And I think just like you bring that parallel up with music, I don't know if because we have access to it in the internet era that necessarily makes it easier, at least now. Because now everything is so saturated. Because
I wouldn't say, I'm not saying easier to break through, but definitely
access to start.
Like just to put something out there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure. But I know so many people that fail.
There's going to be a lot of bullshit.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that fail. But think about it. It's like, they're also, once you get big on Instagram, they're also, I think, making more money. There's no cost into them going to comedy club or a theater or whatever, there's no overhead costs. They get to keep all the money they're making because they're just posting on Instagram or
ad revenue.
There's a bunch of ad revenue that they are pocketing. You know, there's no cost really going into it.
Druski just did an interview on the Breakfast Club.
Love him.
I was just
watching. He was, we all love Druski. We talked about that. Yeah, and he was talking about an experience he had at Kevin Hart's show. He was backstage, and then Kev came up to him. He was just trying to show Kev love, and he was like, "Stop being a bitch." That's what Kev said to Druski. And Druski's like, "What? Nigga, what? Like, what's going on? I'm trying to show this nigga love." And he was saying that Kev was like, "Stop being a bitch." He's like, "It's what you're doing now on the internet. It's like it's good and all that, but it's not gonna last. Like you need to, if you can't get ass in the seats, if you don't do the work, you know, if you don't start doing like if you don't tour, if you don't get up on stage, this shit is gonna fade." And I think we've observed that a lot with these internet guys. Now, again, I'm not saying it's like I'm pro internet guys. I just see the kind of the gray area in it. Yeah. Because my dad, again, Rob Stapleton. So I think my heart is more with the grind and the hustle of stand. I remember the phone books and you know what I'm saying. I remember growing up and seeing all of that. That hustle, there's nothing like it. But I think what Kev said is true. I think these guys can get all these bags, they can get all these deals, but there's a short stint to it. And I think the same thing with music. When we think about the guys that are great, they're the ones that can carry their own long term. Like the J. Cole's, Drake's, and Kendrick's 10 years have been the top 3 guys. A lot of guys have come around since then. But if you're not taking your craft serious at the core of it, I don't think it's going to work.
How old was that Druski interview? Because he just came out.
It just came out like 2 days ago.
He's just releasing a tour.
Yeah, that's why. That's why it's like a press run.
Gotcha.
He's been at Hot 97 Breakfast Club, and I like his journey. So I watched it
too. He's funny.
Yeah, man, he's funny. He's one of the good ones.
You say he's about to go on tour?
Yeah, he's about to go on tour. He's like could have been records thing he'd be doing.
Yeah, that should be hilarious.
Fucking hilarious. It is. I really want to see how he's gonna translate that.
So what's different to you about Druski? Because you clearly you're not crazy about the internet guys in general, but the ones you do like Druski comes up the most.
Because they're actually funny.
Yeah,
they're funny, right? And they're not. Like I don't feel like Druski's trying hard to be funny. It's different comedy to me. Like it's silly, but I be in tears. I think the first one I saw was like he was like everyone knows this type of white girl, and he was ODing at the bar. He was like, I just did a line of coke in the bathroom, and he's like this girl with like a little blonde, like little wig, and it's funny, but it's not the typical wig like content that you see sometimes. Like
no, he's really good. Like his observational comedy is really good. Yeah, because when he does imitations, it's not like it like corny, like he's trying to do a Jim Carrey level impersonation. Not that it's bad when Jim Carrey does it, but it's just the accuracy of it and the little mannerisms and tonalities work for him. Yeah. But so it sounds like your issue isn't so much how funny they are, but that a lot of people that aren't funny see success.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Bugs me.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I said somebody's funny to every like somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
it's subjective.
The comedy is subjective.
Somebody's laughing.
Yeah. But the internet, but I get it though, because there are rules. Like, I mean, it's when you talk entertainment, it's always going to evolve. It's going to change, right? The way that you practice and everything is going to evolve. But I don't know. I don't feel like you want to. I don't know. I lost my thought, y'all. Take it.
That's okay.
It was about to be some hard shit. I'll tell you if you come back.
Well, I'll just list out maybe a couple other comedians I do like, and I think now that I'm looking at it, it's like a lot of New York.
Yeah,
dudes.
New York bias.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's relatable also. So I think like D1 Pop I think is hilarious.
D1 Pop is funny.
He's funny. Randy is funny. Randy's funny. I'm not saying every skit is funny, but most of his skits are hilarious to me. And then like Low-Key Mar.
Definitely New York bias.
And Shiggy. I like Shiggy too.
You like Shiggy?
I do like Shiggy.
What about Rennie?
Oh, you know what? Rennie was funny to me in the beginning, and then I don't know what happened.
You thought he got less funny?
Yeah.
I feel like he stopped doing
He
stuff.
stopped. He started doing the stand-up for real. He's stupid with the stand-up.
He is on. He be on tour. He be on tour.
Have you seen any Instagram comedians do stand-up?
No, I have not. I have not gone to see them on stand-up.
Man. I think some of them are going hard, man. Like, because you know my pops does that room at Salsa on Tuesdays. Yes. So, like, I've seen DC go there. DC Young Fly. Jess Hilarious. Like, a lot of these Wild 'N Out guys. Like, somebody like Jess is really doing the work.
Yeah.
And she's killing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when we was talking, it was Nico. Nico gonna act like we don't argue all the time. We was talking about T.I. because T.I. was that sauce. So he's talking about how T.I. did.
Yes.
And we was talking about like the difference in it being like disrespectful that T.I.'s doing comedy, or is it more like admirable that he's stepping into it and respecting the art form? You know, because that's kind of what you want the internet guys to do. But I feel like when they do it, it's kind of like, oh, like they get scoffed at a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like there's a way to do it though. Cause so you mentioned DC Young Fly.
Yeah.
He's funny.
I feel like the people that do it right, they find a mentor.
Yeah.
So it's like you see when DC Young Fly, he surrounded himself with Chico Bean, Carlos.
Yeah.
You know, he just like under
but
that.
He did the work.
So he under that school.
Yeah.
Right. I respect those that do the work.
Who else? Like Rennie. It's like my man Desi from Mount Vernon. He was like,
oh yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? He
yeah.
worked with him. He was like, because my Desi already doing stand up, and he went to a comedian. He was like, "Yo, help me like work like write jokes." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like Just Hilarious. I'm pretty sure she has.
She has been.
I don't know who's her.
You
her
can look
mentor.
all these people up too, and people can see it. You know, like some of these guys, when people think that they not hot no more, it's because they realize that internet thing, like that's a burning white light that you get for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? And that's gonna fade. So if you don't build those fundamentals, you're not gonna have much of a career.
Also, it's like Instagram, it could be gone in a second. You see what's happening with Twitter, that shit might not be here in a few weeks.
But I get it though, because I feel like for our parents, that's a fact. I feel like with our parents, I think their era was one where you just didn't have the option of these things. So I feel like the fact that people can kind of pick and choose how they want their journey to go. Granted, some are more fortunate than others.
Man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Barbershop. You ever went with y'all pops to like print flyers?
Yeah.
And sit and drop them. You ever went to a barbershop and drop them?
Handing them shits out.
Handing them shits out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Hitting the ground running.
And that was a real era.
Daddy's show.
But then it's like, who do you get mad at? Do you get mad at the kids? You get mad at the young comics, you know, or do you get mad at the system for evolving? Because are the kids wrong for utilizing the new tools they got?
No.
I say the kids, like
they're not kids. They're like someone older than us.
Yeah, word. But you know the way that they look at them, you know, because they get like little broed a lot, and I just think some of them really did the work. You was talking about Country Wayne before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading an article. Did I say that on air? Or that was off air?
Yeah, I think it was off air, but but he's relevant because he's one of those
pretty
guys.
Relevant. Yeah,
because he built a huge
following,
right?
Huge
in his business.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he built his business really well. I remember reading something about just how much he was earning, which was crazy to me.
Yeah,
and his skits, I think his are funny, but I think he produces them at such a wide rate that they lose the funny sometimes because of the speed. But that's his business model. Yeah. So then it's like, what am I observing here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's hard to even compare.
I don't know. It's like microwave a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're just trying to find that hit. You know what I mean? You only need one of them out of the. I guess what.
But that's what he said. He said social media helps him gauge what people want. So he does a lot of testing, I'm sure, and he picks up what works.
A lot of social media is like algorithms and stuff too, though. You know what I mean? So people are like who get to a certain level, you start studying that too. And what time of day to post, what kind of content is going to get followers, what kind of thumbnail works. And that's, you know, whether you think it's a good thing or bad thing, it's a part of the business now. And so if you want to have success on a certain level, to tell people to skip these steps because it's not true to the game, it's just unrealistic to tell a kid, as opposed to giving them game. So when you talk about like them having OGs or like, you know, having a mentor, I guess that is the best route to go, or at least, you know, some interest in learning. But I don't know. I don't know too many of these internet guys. Do you know them? Do y'all know any?
I know Shiggy a little bit. I've met him a few times, but other than that, no.
What's the vibe like?
You know, I feel like comedians are super quiet. Like every time I meet Shiggy, he seems like very chill.
Just don't probably want to be on all the time.
Yeah, I ran into Low Key Mar one time with Shiggy.
I don't think Shiggy's into the stand up though, right?
Do he do stand up like that? I don't think he do.
I've never heard.
No, he's just like funny on video.
Yeah.
Oh, Katie's funny.
Who?
Katie Dawn.
I don't think I know Katie.
Erica Priscilla is really funny. She has like skit. She's more like kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And I think she's from like Jersey, and she's hilarious.
Yo, what does Justin LeBoy do? Is he a comedian?
Nah.
No, he copies and pastes on Twitter.
Yeah. See, that's where it gets weird, you know, because
like
the internet is such a weird place. And it's like, but I know a lot of people who post him because he be saying funny shit. You know,
but it's not his thought ever. It's I will be on Twitter scrolling and I'll see something and laugh. Yeah. And then I'll go on Instagram and I'm like,
and that's so algorithmic. He knows what his audience is. He knows the type of quotes to repeat and just reword and rephrase.
That's how he made it. That's so job. Interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the bitterness comes from. It's the way that the system evolves and that older people who've already built all this groundwork, it's like you have to continue to work in that way because nobody's going to buy this new wave of thinking for your media. Even when my pops like post stuff online, his internet stuff, I feel like has been inconsistent enough as far as him coming up with characters, little skits to put up, reposting them every now and then.
Right.
But I know the audience that he's developed over this almost 30 years of him doing comedy wants to see his stand-up. You know? You can't fall back on like, bring that ass here, boy. Like, DC, you know what I mean? No disrespect, because I love you.
I feel like you do the internet thing right. It helps a lot. Bring people physically to your show. But at the same time, you got to have something to deliver.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need to,
That's
I've definitely, working at Caroline's, I've seen like internet, like people that are just, you know, big social media people. They come there and like they doing an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't worked this out. You just, you know what I'm saying?
You could tell, yeah.
And you could just see them just personality they way through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like you could just tell a professional stand-up from somebody that's just up there, just like
and that's why I'm trying to see if it translates like from social media to the stage. It's so interesting.
You gotta work that shit out.
I don't think it does it naturally. It won't do it naturally.
It won't do it naturally. You have to, you're gonna flop.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not a production. You're not at home trying to put the camera in front and you're not like redoing it over and over again. You're live for people.
That's it.
Trevor Wallace is also funny. Have you?
Trevor Wallace?
He reminds me of Dane Cook a little bit. Have you seen him?
I don't know Trevor Wallace.
Okay, I need y'all to go home and look all these people up. Because I'll be on the internet. He's funny. He reminds me a lot of Dane Cook. And when we were on tour with my dad, I think there was a couple of cities that he was there like the week before.
Yeah.
Trevor Wallace, yeah.
How long you been fucking with him?
I think I saw something during COVID.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not even on.
It's like kind of the outrageous, like over the top.
Again, y'all, like I'm a comedy fan, but like my roots, like I was saying, the side I fall on is again respect for like what the generation our pops and them came from, because I'm a stand-up fan.
Yeah.
Like I love comedy, but I keep up with stand-ups way more than I do Instagram comedians. Right, anytime I do get into an IG comedian, typically somebody posts something that I think is funny in their story, and then I'll click the page.
Oh, that's how I get into it.
I'll see somebody and then I'll follow them. If I see like 2 or 3 more I think are funny. But then I'm scrolling and I happen to see the new shit they post, like it, and I keep going.
Yeah.
Stand-ups, I get invested in them. You know what I mean? Like how they grow, how they develop, how they presence on stage, delivery, you know what I'm saying? If I knew them personally, you know, how like seeing them put that hour together, seeing them, you know, kind of cut certain jokes out and get more comfortable. That I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that are becoming millionaires now don't even know what that is. And I think that would be insulting to me if I built my career off of
hitting the ground,
going through that shit.
Hustling, yeah. Do you find I know your dad does skits and like he'll post things. Do you find it hard for your dad to get into social media a little bit more?
Your pops was one of them live champions during the
pandemic.
He
my dad don't really get
2 a.m.
He do definitely do that live IG live interview.
He got an audience on there too.
But I don't know. My dad don't really. I don't think my dad's ever really even did a skit, like a modern day one. You know what I mean? For like Instagram. That's funny. I should do a skit with my pops.
That'd be cute.
You should definitely.
You definitely because
you do skits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, nigga. Yeah, word, bro. Okay. Solid assassin. You know? Yeah, bro. Like you and like Julio was one of our guests. You've done skits with Julio. You've done skits with several other Instagram. I don't even want to say Instagram comics because Julio's not an Instagram comic, but there's one guy, I can't remember his name, that you've worked a few times with who is. Like I know I've seen his following is big. He's like verified, I think. Some light-skinned dude. No disrespect, I just can't remember his name. Y'all have a skit where y'all call the remote a different name, like all 3 of y'all.
Oh, Jared.
I was gonna say, is it Jared?
Is it Jared? Oh, okay. So Jared. And AJ Carter. I know AJ Carter. That's one of the IG guys I know. But he also does stand-up.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you ever get merged in that? Probably not, because you do stand up every day.
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I feel like the sketches just, for me, I use the comedy sketches as just a way of just visibility. You know, maybe when I'm not as active, like physically going out to shows, it helps me get booked just from people just like seeing me. I don't know. It's definitely a factor in just helping me get like booked more often or just seen and just.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess a lot of you,
because I'm not making no money from that shit. I've had a few, like I got a few TikToks that was like over 1 million views.
Oh, the Wendy's one.
Yeah, but
that was J. Cole really funny.
One. I've been told that it's like I gotta be. I've been told I have to be more active to get to monetize and get like.
It's like so much of it is algorithmic.
You have to do that.
They say you should post a reel a day.
It's just
you have to. I had a call with Facebook/Instagram, and they literally said on the phone to me, you have to be posting 6 to 7 times.
You know what it is with me?
At least.
And there are people who make careers out of giving that information to other people. You know, just stay close to the source. That's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I kind of do credit some of these internet people, because it's a lot to keep up with and to get good at.
Yeah, it is.
On some level, you know what I mean?
I can't do that because it's like me. I put out shit on the basis of like having the idea, and it's just like I just can't. I'm not gonna force it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't. Just to do it. That's when that is like.
And that's why sometimes it feels forced.
Yeah, that's when
I'm
it's
watching
just
them. So when you say that, I think that's what frustrates me. So I'm like, ugh, why would they even do this? This doesn't make any sense. They don't have to put this out. But they're just trying to keep up with the algorithm and keep their followers going.
It really becomes that, and then that's the job. I feel like the only time to me personally where it becomes overtly disrespectful is when they deny the fact that this stand-up world exists, or they act like they're better than it because of how they're getting money. And that bothers me in anything, because there's more money in everything in entertainment than there was 20 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? You can't flex with that like you did something better. You just happen to be a product of a better time. And anytime somebody comes before you in your field, you gotta respect that.
Yeah, give them a little respect.
Yeah, a lot of guys try to bypass that. I do sympathize
Stand
with
up ain't for everybody.
It's not.
No, it's not.
No, and I sympathize with the guys though who do respect like the OGs, but the OGs shit on them in return. Because I don't think that's spoken to a lot. Because I know some guys that do a lot to try to show respect, but people will hate on them. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that, and that happens frequently. A lot of comics do get bitter. Some people are like local legends, or they attain a certain level of success, but they hate to see somebody younger than them or somebody who they feel like didn't do the work that they did getting any kind of light, even if it's not dull in they shine, you know?
Yeah. It's tough. I feel like you always gonna have your bitter people. Yeah. But it's like you're not happy with yourself at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So
But I try to put myself in their shoes, like somebody who's like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and like somebody makes a skit and they go viral within like a few months. It has to be painful, even if you are happy for them. You're like, the fuck? Like, you know? Like that has to also hurt a little bit. Where you know, like you've been like before the internet, obviously, like you've been hitting the ground running.
Just like
and
the
then
OG.
Somebody just gets lucky off of a viral post.
But
that's
happens,
how it happens,
man, and that's the way of things. You know,
interesting.
That's the way of things. But I've just seen it on so many levels. You know, even outside of like the internet thing, it's just how people react to success that seems strange to them. Like I know people, all of our fathers. I've heard people, because a lot of times I'll be around, I'm a fan of comedy. A lot of people know my pops, but they don't know I'm his son. They've never seen me. They don't know any relation. So I'll be around people and have conversations. All of our fathers have come up in conversations I've had with people where they've said opinions that they otherwise may not have said to me if they knew that I had a close tie to all of them. And I've heard all of them get criticisms that are unmerited just from people who envy parts of their position, you know, in some kind of way. So I think that just exists.
Everywhere.
You know, like everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People make it like make it an internet thing with everybody now. I don't even think it's just comics. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know how to use Instagram, it's like, oh, fucking Gen Zer.
That's the conversation my dad and I have all the time. So I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Like, I'm not a Gen Z or a millennial.
They hate when you know how to find the picture.
He like shouted me out one time on the Breakfast Club, and he was like, it's so humbling when you know you have your daughter that's like, no, give me the phone, you're doing it wrong. And he's like, it just feels weird. Like, you know, I'm trying my best. He's like, I'm trying my best, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I feel like I'm always forcing him to like, I'm like, you have to post more. Like, but I think he's just so like, you know, he's thinking kind of old school. Where that man, I can't get him to do a lot of stuff. I'm like, well, if you just do this content, I'm like, people love the way you dress. Like, just do this content, please. I'm like, give me a day to shoot content with you. Give me 6 hours. And he just be like, okay. And then don't do it. Because it's just, it seems like an extra step for him. Right. But I told him, I was like, because I got him from 250K last year to 330 this year. Nice. 330K. So just constantly posting and like keeping up with like what was going on and some of the trends. Like we did some of the TikTok stuff, which was cool, but getting him to like consistently try to come up with something to post is like pulling teeth. Yeah. I think it's because he's just older and he's just and like, I don't get it. I'm like, but you gotta just do it. Right. You know, it's a lot of me like bullying him to do stuff sometimes. That's hilarious. That's why I'm like, how are your dads about it? That's why I was asking you guys, because my dad is like,
my dad texts me all the time for help.
He asks you for advice all the time?
All the time. Of course. If it got anything to do with his phone. You ain't even got to be Instagram.
It's the phone in general. It's the phone in general.
How I plug this in? You know,
like, oh my God.
How I charge this thing? I ain't that bad, but like
sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, especially when it's apps. Like, how do I forget it? So how do I put the words here? Well, why I say draft on top of this picture?
But anytime the iPhone does an update, I swear to God, I'm like, oh, I see how my dad feel every day. Like, I'm confused. I just did this new update. I wanted to cry. I was like, what am I doing on this phone? Like,
and I so get it now because I look at TikTok and shit, and it's like, and I think it's dope. But I'm at the point now where I'm good with the one app. Like, Instagram is kind of all I need. I don't need to tweet and be on Instagram and TikTok. If I'm scrolling anything, just give me that one app. I feel like it's important to understand it when you're working at the team. You want to know like how these different social media apps operate and you know how to engage with people on there, but I don't need it to enjoy.
TikTok is like my guilty pleasure. If I feel like I worked really hard that week, I'll like lay in my bed and scroll on TikTok because it's so easy to be on there for like 2 hours. Yeah, that's without even like noticing, and I don't like that, so I try to like stay away from that one. I'm more of a Twitter head. I'll do like Twitter. It's funny.
For fun?
I love Twitter for fun. I think it's hilarious.
So do you think you casually use all of them? Like you switch between?
I'll switch between them. If Instagram gets on my nerves, and I'll go to Twitter and read. Yeah. But I have a lot of like funny stuff, or like a lot of like holistic health and like astrology stuff on there.
Yeah. Spiritual stuff. Twitter's like you go for the memes. Like when something's happening, like some just like
straight to Twitter.
What's some recent shit that happened and then people's...
Or what?
I don't know, man. It's just whenever something happens in the black community...
It was a big meme thing.
Who?
Who's that?
Elon buying Twitter was a big meme thing.
Oh, that was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big meme thing. Even I get through Instagram. I just follow those little...
But
when everybody thought Twitter was about to be over, they was like...
Yeah, they was they're like RIP Twitter.
Bringing back old shit.
What I'm going to wear at the funeral. That kind of stuff is hilarious. But most of the stuff you see on Instagram is coming from Twitter. I'll see it weeks before. I'm like, I saw this a long time ago.
But that's my thing with our parents, because that's where I'm kind of at. Because I'm aware of that, but I know all I need is one thing to consume all of it for me, because I don't care like that about it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what it is with them. Like, what man is going to be in their 50s? You know what I'm saying? And he's just putting out new social media apps all the time, like learning how to do these filters and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just where your life's at that point. Right. Now, for your work, you gotta learn, you gotta meet in the middle. But at the same time, I completely get it. Like, it's not exciting.
Right. No.
You know what I mean? Like, all my friends gonna be here. Most niggas I know in their 50s got like 2.5 friends. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of niggas they know.
2.5 friends.
You know what I'm saying? And they'll tell you that. It's not a secret. You know what I mean? It's a different appeal.
Does your dad post his stand-up a lot? I follow him.
My pops does, but see, that's part of when we talk about like the generational divide. Because I tell him all the time, Pop, you could go on, like, this is how I post shit, like from YouTube. Like, I'll screen record it, I'll put the phone, I'll turn it to the side, put it on wide lens, screen record it, and upload it to my story. Whatever. I'll edit it so that the part with the drag and me hitting the button isn't in there. It's just the clip.
Yeah.
And I tell my dad all the time, like, yo, if you want to put up your clips or whatever, do that. You know, just so there's a certain clarity to it. Because even how Instagram reads it, like you probably know this, like if your stuff is too blurry or if it's watermarked or whatever, they do tuck it in the algorithm.
They will tuck it.
For what you do, you got to care about that. You know, it's not just, oh, this shit is too much. It's like, I feel you, but it's what you do.
But those little stand-up clips.
But he'll record it on his computer.
People blowing the shit up.
Like with his phone. He'll hold his phone and record it like off the laptop.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, look. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he'll record it on the TV. And I'm like, bro, like you're at a higher level.
Nah, you gotta stop. You gotta
even the meme letters he uses. You know, like some people have just different apps they use and they'll type little captions. And some people have their personal ways of doing it, but there are certain ones that are just more algorithmically friendly that people are used to. And he'll do his own.
They do.
You know,
but it's like the algorithm. So it's like if you post, like say you post a flyer, right? They'll tuck that shit because there's no fake. They'll do the fake facial recognition. So you ever notice you post a flyer? Like, yo, what the fuck?
You got no followers at all. You got like 2 likes.
Why am I getting no love? So it's like the trick with that is it's like you got to do the multiple posts. Yeah. And then like that first one got to be like
something else. Then you
something with faces in it. And then your flyer will be like the second one or some shit.
Yeah. That's the same thing with the stories. They said like if you're going to post on your story and you have a flyer in the story or something, you want to post your face first. Yeah. Or something of you and then post
and these
whatever
things
you want to
change
promote
like
after.
Every few weeks.
Yes,
and you gotta
I can't
keep up with it. Like even now they say like you want to start your story with something that's going to create engagement with the crowd because then they pop it up with more priority.
They really
like
want you to pay.
A poll, you know what I mean?
That's coming down to like they want you to boost your posts, so they
it's all a business.
Tucking your shit.
But people need to understand like there's so many people use excuses to why they shit don't pop, and I know very few people who care to learn these things, and then they'll like. They'll be dismissive of people who do put that time in to understand this because they don't have that knowledge. They feel like, oh, this person just got it easy or they cheating, and it's like, nah, that shit is work, though.
Yeah,
for real.
I also think a lot of the internet comedians jumped in before it started getting weird with the algorithm. So like all their like fans or followers seem super organic, which is why I see them with a lot of likes or saves or comments. So I think jumping into it right before it got weird, when like the algorithm got very annoying, I think it was smart. Like, if you start too late, it's kind of tough. Yeah. Because now you're playing catch up.
And a lot of times people, I definitely believe that a lot of times starting off, these niggas don't know, they don't understand the science behind this. I think people a lot of times are starting just trying to be funny. And I think that if you figure it out from there and you develop an audience, no matter how niche it is, there's something to be said to that. Right. I don't think that puts you at the level of these stand-ups. I feel like y'all aren't even doing the same shit. So it's just like I don't know. I don't know.
You gotta put time in.
You do have to put time. That's with anything, though.
Yeah. No, that's facts.
With anything. Definitely. Guys, this was good.
Yeah, that was deep,
fun.
Man. That was deep.
It's always a good time with y'all, I swear. Well, thanks for tuning in. This is the Can of Comedy podcast.
Yes, sir.
We had a blast. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out. Peace out.
Later.